I currently have the privilege of serving our elders as the District Director of Operations for Brookdale Senior Living in Southeast Michigan. And one of the things that I learned over the years of serving our seniors is the importance of listening to them. And one of the things that they have made very clear to me over the 25 years that I've had the privilege of serving them is that please do not do anything about me without me. Don't make decisions about me without me. Don't think that you really know what I want without asking me. Because even though I've grown older, I still have preferences and I still have an opinion. So when I was talking to Lynn, I decided that I would move forward with what they have taught me. And what I have here in this booklet is some of the notes that they have shared with me about what empowerment means to them. And it's just funny to just sit down and talk with people who are actually living as an elder and how much the things that we think is important to them is really not as important as you may think. So one of the things that I asked them is, could you tell me how can I empower you as an elder if you do not feel empowered currently? And they said to me very quickly that as an elder, I want you to honor what I'm able to do and the contributions that I can still make rather than always obsessing over what I can no longer do. That was the first thing that they pointed out to me. And they also shared with me that it means a lot to them when we continue to realize that even though they're growing older, they still have the ability and the desire to learn and participate in meaningful dialogue. And all of that dialogue shouldn't be about historical points of view and things that's happened in the past. That they want to talk about current events and they want to still dream and pursue new ideas. They also mentioned to me that anything that impacts their life are decisions that they must be included in. And people who love them make this mistake all the time because they think that they can preserve their lives by taking decisions away from them and doing what we think is best for them. And that means our obsession with diminishing risk. And what my elders have taught me who I serve in my communities is that risk is just a part of life. And if you take risk out of life, you're no longer living. Sure, there must be calculated risks, they stress, but there are some risks that they're willing to take. So maybe I will get tired and lose my balance and fall, but that doesn't mean that you should restrict my ability to be mobile, because that's how I end up using walkers and wheelchairs. This is the one that stuck with me, and I think I'm going to have to memorize this. They made it very clear that they want us all to understand that aging is not diminished capacity. It's shifting of capabilities. And I asked them, what does that mean? They said, well, maybe I can no longer run, but I can walk. So don't get so sad about the fact that I can no longer run, because I'm celebrating the fact that I can still walk, and I can walk very quickly. I've been listening to a lot of the people presentations today, and I want to congratulate them. I've never seen such great balance. Talk about a bunch of both and presentations where people can be strategic financially, but also be committed to the greater good of society. So I also love the fact that there were a lot of discussions about housing. So I asked our elders about housing and what's important to them as it relates to housing, since I serve as a senior living housing executive. And they said that one of the greatest things that we can do for them is to create living spaces where they can age in place and have adaptive equipment and devices in place that allow them to live with the greatest amount of independence. Things like substituting doorknobs with levers, such as indirect lighting, use of technology so that if I do stumble and fall, it's detected with monitoring systems, rather than having around-the-clock caregivers. Then they did an interesting pivot on me. They wanted me to understand that language has power and that they are fiercely attempting to remain independent. So they no longer want caregivers. They want care partners. They want people to partner in them maintaining their independence so that they can still select what they want to wear and dress themselves. And sometimes when we're so devoted to them doing things quickly, they're asking us to be a little bit more patient and give them a little more time. But I asked them about socialization, and they said that they feel so isolated, and some of them live for a hug. So just because I've grown older, they wanted me to remind everyone that I still have a need for intimacy. I still have a need for the human touch. And so often they feel set aside. And the last thing that they said was that the stereotypes that are imposed upon them are downright crippling. And I said, what does that mean? They said because sometimes when they go to a doctor's appointment or go to a restaurant, the manner in which they're treated it's as if they can't do anything or they're so diminished. And that's not the case. But the danger in that is that they do actually learn disablement. And that is that if they keep getting treated like that, they tend to act that way. But if they're treated just the opposite, they will also act differently and more independently. So what I wanted to just share those things with you today, because I want to remember those things as I continue to serve seniors, and to ask us all to just have a transformation and a renewal of our minds about how we look at our elders, because the thing that elders bring to our community is wisdom. Knowledge abounds, but the application of that knowledge is cradled in the hands of our seniors and our elders, and that's why we need them in our society and in our communities. Thank you.